All right, so at this point, I'm gonna go back to the home view. We've got a lot done. So we've got our electronics cabinet built out. We've got our sides built out. Let's go ahead and build our last piece, which is the top piece, and then we'll start cutting some holes and some stuff. So to build this piece, I'm gonna come over here to I'm gonna do a construction plane. I'm gonna create that plane on this top surface of one of my side pieces. Now I also want to know where all the outside edges are. So I'm going to do a quick project command. I'm just going to project these outside lines so I can line everything up. And then maybe this one as well. And then I'm going to click OK. Now I've got the 4 sides on there. With that, I'm going to hide all my bodies. And that's the outside of the top. So I'm going to create a rectangle that starts in this top left corner and goes down to this bottom right corner. In fact, you know what? Instead of clicking that bottom right corner, I'm going to type in width, WI, just to make sure everything is still in line. Yeah, awesome. So that did the same thing as the top corners, or correct clicking those corners. I just want to make sure that they lined up still. Okay, so now I just need to extrude out. I want to create this top feature. So it's going to have a rectangle that's 1.25. I wanted it to match. This one was thicker. Let me show you. This one was thicker than the sides. I don't like the look of that, so I'm going to make it the same as those sides, which we had as 1.25. So I'm going to go back to my top view, grab my offset tool. I'm going to offset from this black rectangle here, and I'm going to come in 1.25, enter. And that is going to be the outline there. Yes. And I'm going to click Finish Sketch. Now I'm going to turn everything back on because I want to try and figure out how I'm going to do this. This one, I want this to be a 2-layer extrusion. One layer I want to go down into the lamp so it can kind of sit in there and hold in place. And the second layer will sit on top of the lamp and give kind of a clean top edge to it. And hide some of these ugly joints there in the top. So when I do this extrusion, I want to do it in 2 layers. I want one to go down, one to go up. So I'm going to do an E for extrusion, and I'm going to click on this outside ring. Ooh, I need to do this, and don't forget this little piece didn't get extruded as well. I want all of those to be extruded. So I should from the top see a nice solid rectangle. I'm going to flip it over. I want a 2-sided, and I want a symmetric extrusion. Same way both sides. And I'm here to do thickness, TH, enter. And you can see that it went 1 thickness up and 1 thickness down. It thinks I want to cut, but nope, I want a new body. And I'm going to click OK. And this one's going to be body 7 is going to be top. So rename that. Now, notice how the top doesn't fit in correctly. Like this bottom piece it's too big. I'm just going to do a quick cut. So I'm going to do a combine tool. I want to cut the top piece, and I want to cut it with all 4 of the side pieces. So I can do it either by clicking on them. So there's that one, there's that one. That was pretty easy, actually. I'm going to cut it with all 4 of those pieces, and when I click OK, it is cut. And now if I do a quick move command, I'm going to click here and move it up. You can see there's 2 layers, one here and then one on the inside there. That'll fit in really nicely. So I think that piece is totally done. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to flip it back to home. Oh wait, I didn't want OK. I'm going to undo. I'm going to come down here and delete that move command. I don't want to move it. I don't want it to be on top. Those are all of our pieces, so we're all really good now. Now all we need to do 2 things. We need to cut in a hole for the power, and we need to cut in a hole for the on-off switch. And then, decorate the sides, and then we're good. Okay. Let me grab some stuff to measure. Okay, so I've got my switch, and I've got my power supply components here. I've measured them. I've got the measurements. So I'm going to rotate to the back side of so this is the back side of my cabinet. I'm going to come down here and create a sketch on this outside face. Now I want to project in a few things. So I want to know where the bottom layer down here, where this one is, and where the top layer is. So I'm going to use P for project. This time I'm going to do the body, and I'm going to project this body. Notice how it draws a little square, a rectangle there on my thing. So now I know where the top is. I'm going to come down here and keep it on body. I'm going to click on, okay, try and find that one. There it is. That bottom of electronics cabinet. If I couldn't click on those like that, so let me clear my selections real quick. I could come over here to my bodies and just say, okay, I want to project the top of it and the bottom of it and do it this way instead of in my drawing. That totally works as well. Click OK, and now I can see where those top and bottom are. So I'm going to go back, square up to the back, and I need to cut holes inside this space for these different things. The power one, I'm gonna align vertically. That's the words I was trying to think of. So I'm gonna use a construction line real quick. This is gonna be an alignment line. I'm gonna come down here and just put a straight down construction line in. And then I'm gonna draw a circle on that. And this circle is gonna be the size of the hole I need for the power, or for the, right here, this midpoint for the switch. And that ends up being 1.94 centimeters. That's the size of the hole. So now it's right in the middle, but I can still move it left or right. So I'm going to put the other one in first and then kind of see how that feels. I want it to go in this way. And so I'm going to come over here, click on this one. This is the bottom edge. Where do I want to do it here? This other one I'm going to do down here. I'm going to do another construction line. So I'm going to grab a line, turn it to a construction line. And I'm going to do it on this edge. I'm going to do a line of 0.7 in length. That's how high the center of this opening has to be from the bottom for it to clear. And then I'm going to draw a quick circle here, not a construction circle, a real circle. And this one needs to be 1.03 centimeters in diameter. And I'm going to click enter. And those are the two holes I'm going to have. Now I just got to decide where I want them. They can be wherever you like them to be. As long as they're not too far over here to where they're going to cut into the side pieces, you're fine putting them wherever you'd like. I think I'm going to put mine... I'm just going to do a quick dimensioning from this construction line to this outside edge. And I'm just going to leave it there, and I'll do a number in just a second. This one to this outside edge is fine. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. And then, whoops. Hit escape together. And then all I'm going to do is make these roughly the same. So this one, let's make them both 5. Okay, so I think I'm just going to make both of these around 5. This is all up to you. Okay, and that's it for me. Finished sketch. And now I'm just going to extrude these two out. Cut holes for them. And here I'm going to need a negative thickness T, enter, enter. And you can see I've cut... Oh, I've only cut through one layer. Okay, so let me right click on that extrusion, edit feature. And I want a negative thickness. I need ×2 to get through both layers. And now I can see inside of my cabinet. So that's what I wanted to do. Everything looks beautiful. I think we're ready. That's it. That's it. All the pieces cut, all the hole cut. Now the rest of the time we're going to do is just figuring out interesting designs to do on the faces. I'm going to try to show you a couple of my ideas of how I did things. And then you can just, this is where you're just going to be creative and do something cool. The only thing you have to remember is that any of your designs, anything you do, has to touch an outside wall, probably even twice. So like on this, all these kind of wild, crazy shapes in here, see how they start on an outside wall and end? You can't just do a shape in the middle all by itself because Otherwise, it's going to just fall. It has to be held to the walls in at least one point, but probably better to have 2 points of contact just to give it a little more structure so it's not so squishy. You can see where I poked my finger through on accident. You don't want to do that. So let's start with this, how I created this kind of wild shape. So instead of trying to create some shape with just a bunch of different lines, here's what I did. So I'm going to create on the surface here. I'm going to create my sketch here on the surface. Oh, and here's something else. If you want every face to be exactly the same, you need to stop what you're doing right now. I'm going to hit escape for this one. If you want them all four to be exactly the same, you're going to do, Control Z. I'm going to undo my sketch real quick. You're going to take your history marker back in time before we did this patterning tool right there. So there's the patterning tool, that circular patterning tool. Take it back to there, and you're going to create your shape in this piece. Do all this work we're going to do next in this piece. And then when we're done creating it and we've extruded and it's ready to go, you're just going to come back here and drag your marker back out to the front, and that will create it on all four of them. If you want them to be different on each side, then you're going to start at this point in the timeline and just create 4 different ones. But again, if you want it to be the same in all of them, you can just drag your cursor back here before the circle patterning tool is, do your design in here, and then when you're done with all the design work and you're happy with what it looks, drag your history marker back up to the front and it'll make them all four the same. Pretty cool. You can do it. All right. So I'm going to create a sketch on the front face here. This first kind of zany one, I'm going to turn off all my other stuff because I don't want it to be in the way. And I'm working on the front, so I'm going to turn off the right, the back, and the left. And to do this, I'm not going to try, I'll just show you. So I'm just going to create a bunch of random crazy lines everywhere. So if when you make a line you double click, you can start another line. And I'm just going to make sure these lines just kind of go all different directions. I made a couple hundred lines. So I'm clicking and then double clicking, clicking, double clicking, clicking, double clicking. I'm just doing them all over the place. Okay, so you get the point, like just a lot of lines is basically what I did. And it doesn't really matter where they go or what they do, as long as, I don't like how parallel a lot of these are over here. So I'm actually going to go break up some of that parallel look. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. So once I get done, I'm just going to hit escape to get out of the line tool. And now I'm going to just extrude this stuff. And this is where it's kind of fun. So I'm going to start somewhere. So I'm going to say I'm going to start in this corner. And what I need to do is create a path that touches an edge. So that's why I started in this corner here, because it touches the edge here. And then every new piece I select has to be touching one of the edges. So I can't select this one next because it's not touching the edges at a point. I've got to do either this direction or that direction. So I think, oh, I'm going to do this direction. But now I have a bunch of choices. I can make it really small and go here and here. Whoop, not there. Here and here and make kind of a cool shape to it. Or I could not do those two. I could go this one to this one. And then maybe I'd want to go here and then here. I'm just going to find my way through. Again, the only thing I don't want to do is do this where there's a there, because that's not connected. I need these all to be connected. So there and there. And maybe I want to go in this direction. I don't know. And I'm going to come back over here and end it against the wall right there. And then I'm going to choose this one and start going in this direction. Except I'm going to turn back really quick. I'm just going to play and kind of get a feel for what I can do. The more lines you do, the more options you have for drawing these shapes. And then I can just keep going, doing kind of whatever I want. That's that one. So once I get all the things that I want and the design looks like it looks weird enough for me to be happy with it. I'm going to hit E for extrude. I'm going to click on, I'm already extruding. What am I thinking about? So I'm not going to hit E for extrude. I'm already extruding. Oops. So I'm going to hit E for extrude, find all those paths again. I'm just going to do it real quick. Again, I'd like it to start and finish on the same one. And then I'm just going to extrude down in this direction, but it's going to be a negative thickness, TH, enter, asterisk for times 2, and right there, I've got my pieces done. See how I left these little breaks in there? I have to go fix all that and do it carefully, but that's how you would do that side. Just with wild lines, then you just choose different things to do. Control Z, undo that one. All right. So I'm going to delete this sketch because it's a mess. I'm going to show you some more techniques. Oops, sorry, finish sketch. And now I can delete it. I'm going to create a new sketch on that front side again. This time I'm going to show you how to do the starburst like this. This one's kind of a fun one to do. So I'm going to create, for me it was, so the number of rays I want coming out, I need to count that real quick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. About 24 of them is what I got. So I'm going to do a Polygon Tool, and I'm going to do, it doesn't matter which one I do, and I'm just going to come up here and put it somewhere. And I'm going to do it about like ish, and then I'm going to do tab, and I'm going to do 22 sides, or 24 sides. And then maybe we'll make it a little bit bigger. Kind of like that. And now notice how it looked like a circle, but it's really not. It's all these little hard shapes to it. And now I can move it around still. So escape to get out of the Polygon Tool. I can move this and kind of place it where I want. If I grab the outside edge, I'll just drag it. I can keep just playing around with where it is. It's like stuck to a point right there. That's super weird. Uh-oh. Control Z that move. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to leave it there. And then how you make the rays is really easy now. So I'm going to come here and grab a rectangle tool, 3-point rectangle. I'm going to zoom in on an edge. I'm going to go to the corner of this face, to the corner of this edge. I shouldn't say face, edge. And then I'm going to drag this out so that it's down below outside this. So as long as I'm on the wood here completely, I'm good. And I'm just going to do that for each one of them. So I have a 3-point rectangle still, here, here, and then drag. And then zoom in, and I can go here, here, and drag. And I'm just going to do that all the way around. Now, to get this kind of cool pattern on the inside, I can do all kinds of weird stuff. So this is where you're just going to start playing. I'm going to grab, create another Polygon Tool. This time I'm going to choose an edge polygon, and I'm going to come here, and I'm going to go straight out, like there-ish. And maybe I want it to be a little bit bigger, and maybe, I don't know, I'm going to try to do five sides. Who knows? Just like that. Enter. And I'm just going to grab this corner. Ooh, that moved everything. Okay, I'm just going to grab this one side here and make it, I don't know, kind of ish big. Yeah. And now I'm going to pattern this thing in a circle. So watch this. Create. I'm going to do a circular pattern tool. I'm going to click on all 5 of the sides of my pentagon. And I'm going to click my center point over here, my center point. I'm going to click on that as my center point. I'm just going to up it until I start seeing something that looks interesting to me that I'd want to have. That I can maybe use. Okay, it's getting out of control now. That was too much. That I like that. So I'm going to click with that. Click OK. And now I'd have all my rays done, right? So I do all the rays all around it, just like that. And now when I go to extrude, I'm going to go E, and I'm going to extrude all my rays, this central piece here, and then whichever of these pieces that I want, oops, maybe I'm going to do every other one. And notice how all these points are, these are going to be cutouts. So it's okay that those points come together and touch. What I want to make sure is this white part, no, these are going to be extrusions. Sorry, these are going to be extrusions. So they need to touch something. So yeah, I need to do everything that's not going to be bright. So I want this one and this one to, oops. Yeah, this is going to be tricky to figure out. So the white part's where the light's going to be coming through, and then the dark part is going to be where the blue is coming through. So I actually want to grab all of these and make them all blue, except maybe that one, and that one. Now I can't do that because notice how it doesn't have a side touching. The two blues have to have a side touching. So all the blue has to be in contact with something. So I'm going to do that and leave those last little triangles in there. Maybe that looks nice. Yeah, I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to show you quickly kind of, whoop, not that one. So this is just something, just take time on it, you know, create a pattern that looks kind of cool. I'll show you just a few rules here. I think this one, this one, this one. The only rules you have to worry about is that blue has to always be touching blue out to this outside edge and then to the wall. So for example, this center blue piece is a piece of wood. So it's got to be touching the inside all the way out to a wall. So what I wouldn't want to do is do something like this. This center blue piece here is a piece of wood and it will just fall out. It's not touching anything. It's got to be touching here to here. So this one touches all the way through to this outside ring, and this outside ring touches by all the rays. So you can keep doing that and just kind of generate whatever kind of fun, cool, funky pattern you want. If it gets much smaller than this triangle, don't try and cut it because it won't look very good. The laser will just like burn up in that little area. All right, and then just click, once you do that, you're extruding, so you just need to do a negative thickness times 2, and then it's going to go down, yep, 2 layers down, and then you're just going to click OK, and just like that, you have your body. Obviously, you would have done it more symmetrically. Notice how this piece can't be real because it's just going to fall out. It's not going to be able to stay anywhere. So make sure you have it connected back around. All right, awesome. I'm not sure what happened with those pieces. You could figure out what happened to yours. So that's that way. So control, I'm going to actually undo these last 2 steps, delete those 2, and show you another way. So that was the starburst. This is this pattern. This is kind of a fun pattern to do with just like rectangles and stuff. So on this one, the easiest thing to do is create your sketch again on the front face. You're going to just grab some line tools and you're going to click on this edge here, go down 90 degrees, click again. Oops, sorry, single click, go over, click on that one. And then I'm going to do just another one right inside of it. So that's like one of these lines here. And then I'm just going to just play around. I'm going to go down, over, and put this one on. And maybe I want to do another one that looks like this. And now we're just playing. We're going from the edges to the edges. Okay, and now I'm going to dimension this out real quick because I want these to be stuck together. So this one to this one, I want that to be 0.5 is probably the smallest you should go. Anything less than that's going to be really easy to break for the plywood. So I'm going to do a 0.5 there, which means these 2 need to be 0.5 apart, which means these 2 need to be 0.5 apart. And again, here, if I were to connect these to each other, So for example, this might be my 1.5. If I escape out of the dimensioning tool, if I double click on this one and then click on that one, it matches it, enter. Double click on this one, enter that one, enter. Double click here, click on that one, enter. Now when I change this 1.75, it changes all of them, right? So one of the nice things about doing it this way is that now I can actually drag these wherever I want and kind of reposition them, making some interesting shapes. Have I drawn? I haven't drawn a swastika. Okay, good. Don't draw a swastika. Swastika is an interesting shape that's easy to arrive in, but it's not something you want on your lamp. That would mean you're a Nazi. Don't do that. So make sure you just steer clear of swastikas is my big advice for you. So you can add more of these lines in, and then you can just kind of move them around, play with them until you think you have something that looks interesting. And then, and that's swastika free. And then you're going to just extrude these when you get it there. So you'll add more like in this corner and that corner, and just take your time and play with this. This is where you're going to really make your lamp kind of cool looking. Okay, so if at this point, once you have all 4 of your sides figured out, you're ready to flatten out. So in our next video, we'll talk about how we flatten everything and then how we send it over to the laser cutter. Awesome job. Hang in there.